Rotaries may have satisfied their beauty pageant fix last week, but we're not forgetting about the married ones. During this year's Mrs. Universe 2011 pageant in Bulgaria, the representative of the Philippines also stood out. Our very own Erilene Noche-Tumali also bagged 2 awards that event. The Mrs. Universe Limited Award because of her exemplary behavior and advocacy, and the Mrs. Sponsors Award because she was well-liked by the sponsors. Outside of the pageant, Erilene, a native of San Mateo, Rizal, is a very passionate wife and husband Midel, a mother to her 13-year-old son, a banker, a Rotarian as well. Oh my goodness. Is there anything else that you can do? Good morning. Eren is your nickname, right?
Yeah.
How are you?
I'm doing good. Medyo nakapag-rest na.
Okay, because you just came back. When did you come back?
August 30.
Oh, okay. So you've had a good month to
Yeah.
revisit, I guess, your husband, all of your other errands. Kasi syempre Mrs. Universe is something different.
Actually, nung dumating ako, medyo rest muna. No interview, no guesting, rest muna. Because sobrang pumayat ako doon. Grabe. Pero I enjoyed lots of friends, and we are not competing to anyone. We here in Bulgaria just to discuss the advocacy of different country. So more on roundtable discussion yung ginawa namin doon, and community service, and visiting the areas, the mayors, and all. Bulgaria is not like other countries. It's more on falls, mountains.
Right.
Hindi siya ganun.
I'm sure maganda siya though.
So, maganda siya, kaya lang hindi siya parang tourist spot. Pero mai-enjoy talaga yung mga nature's lovers sa Bulgaria.
But let's begin with the history of how you got into the pageant. How does something like this come to someone so busy? You know, you're a Rotarian. You're also the assistant VP to a bank.
Yes.
And of course, you're a wife and mother, so you also keep house.
Yes.
So when did this happen for you?
A friend of Garrett Blanco, Direct Garrett Blanco, asked me, "Hey, Eren, gusto kitang isali sa Mrs. Universe."
Okay.
Sabi, ako on the spot, okay, no problem.
Hindi ka nagulat?
Hindi. Kasi because it's just my dream when I was 7 years old.
To be Miss Universe?
Yeah, sumali sa mga beauty contests and everything.
Okay.
And because of financial problems, so nag-concentrate muna akong mag-aral.
Okay.
So then, Direct Garrett Blanco introduced me Erilene Escudero, the co-owner of Total Image Asia. Then, lots of candidates, they submitted a picture and they review.
How many candidates were you? Because you usually get nominated, or they send, I suppose, your biodata and a picture.
Yeah, 10 to 15 candidates. So, Erilene Escudero called me then, "Eren, I want to see you, I want to talk to you." Sabi ko, okay. Then when Erilene Escudero review my profile, my achievement, parang, oh, grabe achievement mo. Sabi
swak
niya,
na swak.
20 years ka na pala sa banking industry, and then you're a president of Rotary, ganun. So, yan ang hinahanap ng mga Mrs. Universe Limited.
And you just got inducted actually as president of your Rotary.
Actually, I consider this year as my victory year. I celebrate my 40th birthday.
Wow, you're 40.
On January. And then, come to May, Garrett Blanco asked me to join in Mrs. Universe. And July is my induction, being a president of Rotary Club of Roces, District 3780.
I don't think many people out there knew that there was a Mrs. Universe. In fact, when I got the notes, I'm like, hey, I didn't even realize it's fairly new, because I think it started in 2009.
2009, si Camila
Kim
Galvez.
I think she used to be a reporter for ABS-CBN.
Then 2010, si Moriel.
Yes.
She's Mrs. Intelligent.
Yes.
Yeah.
But Camila
is second runner.
Second runner up. So we do well. And then you want to explain Mrs. Limited Award.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Mrs. Universe Limited is the name of the organization of Mrs. Universe. Their advocacy is violence against women.
Okay.
And during our roundtable discussion, the discussion about domestic violence, and I discussed na domestic violence is I'm doing to my Rotary Club. Nagbibigay kami ng livelihood program for the victims, and tumutulong kami sa mga bata rin na naapektuhan ng mga may problema sa pamilya. So parang
shared advocacy.
Yeah. Then natuwa yung si Miss Maggie and si Miss Maria, the organizer of Mrs. Limited. So they asked me to interview by the press doon sa Bulgaria. So, sa Bulgaria, kasi hindi sila marunong mag-English.
Okay. So, paano yan? May interpreter ka?
Every time na nagdi-discuss ako sa media, sa mga newscaster, so ini-interpret nila. And then, naglabas yun sa mga newspaper. Hindi ko naman maintindihan.
Because this is the first year that they had it.
Yes,
the Limited Award.
Yeah, this is the first year. And because of my advocacy and achievement, so binigay nila sa akin to, na actually, ang sinasabi ni Miss Maggie is, usually, ang gumagawa nito is the Mrs. Universe with this Mrs. Venezuela. Since
panalo si Mrs. Venezuela.
Yeah, oo.
Pati sa Mrs. Universe, si Venezuela, panalo pa rin.
After sabi ko nga sa kanila, sabi ko, oh, I'm Mrs. Universe also. I'm Mrs. Universe Limited. I'm holding the name of the organization.
And you have a sash and everything.
Yeah. And according to Miss Maria, sabi niya, Miss Maggie, our organizer, our president and CEO, really likes your advocacy and he wants to keep in touch with you. You are the one to be the spokesperson of our advocacy. Okay. So according to Maria, and then they asked me na if I'm available in next year, the pageant is in Venezuela.
Okay.
I will be the one to give the inspirational speech to all the delegates.
So parang part of the family ka na rin.
Yeah. So, the Prestige Management with Erilene Escudero, we're planning to have a local pageant next year.
Because there is no pageant. It's really just to submit photos and
according to Erilene, if we're going to have a pageant next year, local pageant next year, it's something like more on achievement, community service.
So walang swimsuit, walang evening gown.
So it's not like all beauty.
But what does the pageant entail? When you were already there, doing the Mrs. Universe, you did have roundtable discussions.
Yeah.
Pero syempre, Mrs. Universe, although of course, it's more about the advocacy. Siyempre, kailangan may picture din, di ba? So, beauty is also part of it.
Yes.
Did you have to make rampa? Did you have...
Yeah.
Okay, so how did it go?
Yung modeling namin, yung ramp namin, yung coronation night namin, it's 2 hours.
Okay. Televised ba yan?
Doon, hindi.
Okay.
So, the main event is the round table. The pageant night is how to show your long gown.
Okay. So nag-long gown ka rin.
How to walk, how to smile. But it's so happy because we are all candidates in the Mrs. Universe is very close kami sa isa't isa. Pero,
it's not really a competition.
Yeah, hindi kasi 3 lawyer. We have a doctor, journalist. So, ang mga candidates talaga is talagang mga professional. So,
but kailangan, syempre, Mrs. Universe. Kasi I noticed that in all of the notes, hyphenated talaga lahat. I guess it has to show that apart from your advocacies and apart from everything else that you do, you're also, first, a wife and a mother.
Yes, that's the most important. You married woman. 25 to 45 years old married woman.
So hanggang 45 lang.
Yeah, hanggang 45.
Kawawa naman yung mga medyo senior
Meron silang Mrs. Grandma Universe.
Meron?
Siya, si Maggie din.
Oh, okay. So it's part of the same.
Actually, nagpunta siya doon yung nanalo sa kanila ng Grandma Universe.
Do you find that it's gaining popularity? Because for now, not many people know about it yet.
I think yes.
And what do you find is the beautiful thing about it? Because everyone loves beauty pageants, diba? But for this one, it's not necessarily televised, pero yung advocacies
The advocacy.
Maybe you can talk about the different advocacies that you heard of there because you share your advocacy with the actual pageant.
In the roundtable discussion, I was thinking na, marami akong matututunan sa ginagawa nila, how to prevent and protect the victim of the domestic violence in different country. It so happened, wala. Kasi ang nangyari is parang katulad sa Mrs. Columbia, meron siyang woman organization. So ang ginagawa lang niya is pinoprotektahan niya yung mga victim, pero big problem pa rin sa kanila.
Yes.
Rampant pa rin.
Okay.
So, ako, ang sinabi ko sa kanila, I'm planning to have 24 hours
Parang hotline.
yeah, to report, and hindi na nila kailangan pumunta, then monitoring na lang kami. So, and sinabi ko rin sa kanila sa Philippines, we have a lots of women's organization, but still, it's rampant. In our country, sabi ko, in the Philippines, we have woman empowerment. Meron na kami, we have 2 president na women. So, it's still rampant pa rin. And ang na-notice ko sa kanila, ang pinaka-rampant is sa Russia.
Okay. But
So,
are they taking steps to doing something about
Wala
it?
pa rin,
So this is what Mrs. Universe sort of, I
So,
suppose, wants to take care of.
according to the organizer, si Miss Maria, parang kailangan kaming mga candidates, mga delegates, is magtulungan.
Spokeswomen din.
Yeah, so we keep in touch para malaman namin kung paano. So, until now, we email to each other.
But yung roundtable discussion, that's all of the candidates. How many candidates were you, if you don't mind my asking?
25?
You were 25.
Yeah.
And you were telling me a while ago when we were chatting that a lot of them are more from the European countries.
Yeah, Latiba, Maltese, more on European. And Mrs. Venezuela, Mrs. Colombia, Mrs. Russia, Singapore. At I think mga around 7 lang yung outside European country.
Okay, well, this is your year, 2011. But for next year, because I'm sure there's going to be a pageant next year, what do you want to say to those who feel that they can actually be part of it? Invite people to maybe, or if they know friends who are fitting to join Mrs. Universe, because it puts the Filipino in a great light again.
Yeah.
And you won 2 awards as well. So why don't you invite like the women out there who have these advocacies to try and, you know, make our country proud?
Okay, to all married women who have own career, have a significant cause to help others, people. You are all requested to apply or to apply to Miss Erilene Escudero, the organized the prestige management. To our pageant next year will be start on February.
Feb na. Medyo malapit na siya.
February. So we're planning it out now, and every married woman is welcome to apply.
Do you have a website or a contact number?
Naggagawa pa lang kami ngayon.
Okay.
Kasi it's the first time namin magkaroon ng local pageant.
Okay, well, Mrs. Universe, limited.
Limited,
Congratulations,
yeah.
Eren. And thank you so much for doing our country proud.